And in terms of, there's a lot of new technologies being discussed in the industry, particularly recently. Like, what are we seeing in that space, and how are we stitching that into what we're doing for our clients, I suppose?
The technology sort of breaks down for me into sort of a number of areas. So first of all, I would say you've got the facility that's being driven as a result of the growth in AI. You've also got the advancements in the cooling technology. And I also think you need to look at how we're going to make a scalable modular solution. So if you just look at the AI side of things, particularly at the moment, we used to talk about having an IT rack of 3 to 5 kilowatts, and we're now up to 20, 25, 50 is going to be on the cards very soon, and people are talking 100 to 150. That's going to have a massive impact on the facility, and it's not just the power and it's not just the cooling, but it is in fact the weight. There's a lot of work that needs to be done around that. You're going to end up with a situation where actually a data center is going to be driven by the plant space, because the actual white space, if you like, that you've got the data hall in, there's 2, 3, 4 times potentially more capacity, but we still don't have any more land. Land in Europe is expensive, there's no doubt about that, and there's only so much roof that you can put cooling on. So I think that's where we will struggle in the future. We need to try and understand all of that and work with our clients. Mm-hmm. Bringing that back into the retrofit market will be an interesting one. So, where we've looked at these facilities in Amsterdam and also in Germany, how do we actually need to do a far more due diligence on a building to make sure that building is fit for upscaling into an AI solution?
So Simon, one of the challenges that our clients have at the moment is around the whole area of the densification of data halls. With the onset of AI and machine learning, the facilities we're designing are much more dense, and with that comes more heat and different cooling requirements. How are we addressing that challenge in PM Group?
Well, in PM Group at the moment, we've been looking at how in-rack cooling can be developed, and we've worked with a number of suppliers around the delivery of a system that either uses a rack cooling or it uses an immersive cooling technology. Air's been the mainstay in data centers for many, many years, but with the advancement in the AI and the densification, that I don't think that we'll be able to carry on doing quite so much of that. We will still need air to cool the heat within the hall generally, but I think the principal cooling within the rack will need to change. For me, I think the system needs to be stepped up another gear. We need to think about other things, and what I've been looking at is how the refrigerant-based systems can be used. So an inert gas that's not ozone damaging, that if we could get a phase change within the chip itself or on the board itself, would allow us to probably be 10 to 12 times more efficient than an air-based system. I think the other question that we perhaps need to ask ourselves is, do we need to cool quite so intensely as we have been? So combination of things, the temperature within the hall itself, but obviously higher temperatures affect the electrical systems, or can we run the chips and the actual boards hotter as well? And that altogether, that would give us a reduction in the cooling capacity. I think the plant space limitations that we're going to see with the AI-driven data centers means we have to come up with a more efficient way of delivering them.